Hi, how is everyone? No one's in the room, so I'm going to go on ahead and do the thing. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my Love is Blind slash I'm going to make some food slash I'm going to eat some food. Like, I guess Cook with Wah mukbang review recap. For those of you who don't like people eating, I will be eating. So I'm going to clean some chicken while people get into the room. Thank you guys for being here. I know it's random, short notice, but I was going to be cooking and I figured I would cook with y'all. So I set everything up. Cheers. Ten people. For those of you guys who didn't hear, I'm making food. I'm going to talk about Love is Blind. I'm just waiting for more people to get into the room. I'm actually skinning some chicken right now, and then I'm going to leave it to soak and clean while I prep the other stuff. So start commenting, and then I'll know people are here who are interested. But again, I'm going to give me a second. Okay. Talk amongst yourself. Oh, hey. Hello. I'm taking the skin off some chicken and leaving it to soak. Taking some of the fat off too. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you would know. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know that I moved to Minnesota. So what you're seeing is my apartment. Okay, I did it. This recipe called for bone-in, skinless chicken. But the grocery store that I went to didn't have skinless bone-in chicken. It either had skinless boneless chicken or skin boned. So I had to de-skin it. Now I'm going to clean it with some white vinegar and some lemon and lime. I've got both items here. I'm going to wash these. Now, I know in some circles, you're not supposed to wash your chicken because of the spray. Like you can get salmonella over other things. I'm here to tell you that I feel very confident in my skills to be able to wash chicken and not have a lot of spray, and or have spray and then wash it afterwards. Someone just said, Kari just said, this is now a cooking channel. It might be a way for me to multitask, to like talk to you guys and then prepare food, because I'm really like trying to be better with money, because there's no excuse. Like I'm finally in a place where I'm feeling free. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have felt just, like stagnant in LA, California at least. I felt like just career wasn't doing much, and I didn't want to live with anyone anymore, and I wasn't going to be able to afford it. So, anyways, I wouldn't go on the show because I want a black husband, and it's almost never works out that way. Hi, Yazelle. I've been good. How are you? Okay, I see the folks are in the room. You guys are chitty chatting. Let me pour this vinegar on there, add a little water, leave it to soak, and then we'll start to cut all of the other items. Bro, I treat chicken like it's poison because it truly is to me. Okay, so what I'm making is chicken garlic with 40, I'm sorry, chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. And it asks for 4 pounds of chicken thigh. It said about 16, but that was only like 8. So we've got some herb de Provence, which I have literally never heard of, and this was 11.99. So expensive. I moved to Minnesota because it was a job opportunity, and I took it. The thing I forgot is that I was supposed to get celery, but it only asked for a half of celery stalk. What a wasteful thing. Half a celery stalk. I'm not going to eat celery like that, to where buying a whole bushel or a whole bale or whatever of it and then using half of a stalk. No, we're good. It's fine. I'm sure it adds some flavor that I'm going to not miss. So once I have all my ingredients, I'm going to put it all in my slow cooker and let it cook overnight. It's supposed to cook for 8 hours. I Let me tell you about this slow cooker. Why did I buy this? I actually didn't buy it. Like, I got it as a gift from my job. So, I mean, I chose it from a bunch of gifts. Okay. Let's talk about Love is Blind. Let me get my notes. We're starting from episode 4. Okay. So this is what I wrote. I'm just going to say what I wrote and then we're going to talk about the episode. Ballerina and Guy, they had sex and both had fun. Bartice and Nancy woke up happy. Sex. Alexa and Brennan, love and pancakes. SK and Raven, she wants to have a healthy routine. Pilates Raven versus finance Raven, fiance Raven. What is SK using to clean his face? I want it. Zainab and Cole argue over the difference between great and good. They play games. I put Barber confessed to Bartice about Zainab and Colleen. I don't know what that means. Then I put Bartice and Zainab. Are you regretting? And then someone asks, "Am I your type?" Says the Colleen. I think that this must have been in the pool. Hey JW, Saraya, hey girl, hey. I put Colleen's. Wait, is this still episode 4? Because these are detailed notes. No, that must have been episode 5. Okay, so let's just kind of start off with the fact that these couples who are super into each other had sex. Bartice and Nancy had sex, and Ballerina and Guy had sex, and Alexa and Brennan wake up in the morning. They love each other. It's beautiful. And he brings her pancakes in bed. It is very obvious at this point that we are meant to root for and are rooting for Alexa and Brennan. And let me tell you something about my weird little bias. And I don't know where this comes from. I don't know why I feel this way. And I think some of it comes from fat phobia or like, and I'm just trying to be honest, like I don't know that it does. The fact that Brennan is unabashedly into Alexa as a thicker girl makes me very happy. And I'm not saying that thicker girls aren't worthy of love, that they can never find men, because we've seen it time and time again, right? How many thick girls do we know have boyfriends or whatever, right? But society makes us as women feel that we will not find love if we're not a size 2, 4, 6. And in the Black community, it's different. Like, I never think that about Black women. I always feel like Black women are going to be booed up. And I just think it's because culturally we tend to be okay with being more curvy, or it's socially acceptable to be more curvy. But I instantly was in love with Brennan because I was like, the narrative is that white men don't want curvy women. When I know that's not true, but that is the narrative. That is what we are taught. That is what I'm brainwashed to think. And so I'm also brainwashed to feel like, oh, Brennan's such a great guy because he would date Alexa, which is so fucking rude. But it's what I think. Let me know if anybody else thinks that. Like, it is just something that I think, and it's so stupid, and I'm embarrassed that I think it, but it can't do anything but blame society, truthfully. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to prep this stuff. The things that I need to do right now, besides wait for that chicken to get good, is, do I put the layer seasoned chicken, garlic, celery, onions in pot, pour in wine, chicken stock, cover and press, whatever. When do I put the parsley? Oh, the parsley's at the end. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is peeling garlic right now. I have 6 of these guys, 6 of them. I'm only showing you 3. I've got 3 shallots, so I just need to cut those things up. Okay, so anyways, because of my brainwashing and because of society's in my head and shit like that, I'm predisposed or inclined to be like, Oh my God, Brennan's so great because he loves Alexa, which is like so rude and stupid, but that's where my brain goes. So it seems like they're in a good place. It seems like Bartice and Nancy are in a good place. And then SK and Raven. Raven is giving off like I'm annoyed with Raven in this part. Oh my God, there's like chicken juice on my counter. No, it's like attack it, you know, it's like salmonella. So at this point, I'm not with Raven. Like Raven just seems like a lot. And I'm trying to be on her side. I'm trying to support her. And as a woman, as like maybe a black woman, if she considers herself black, I mean, she kind of does, but she was raised by her like she's really white folks, her white side. But it's just like it feels like she's not being open. But who am I to judge the process, right? Who am I to say like, oh, this is the problem, you're not being open and that's why you don't have a man? Like I just think that it falls into the narrative that women have to stay sweet and be a certain way. But SK seems like he's with it. And whatever my brainwashing is has got me thinking and feeling sorry for SK. Like, you chose her, but she's like not sweet and not feminine and like doesn't want to work with you and feels like she's against the process and is just being hard for no reason. And does she really want love? Why isn't she being more open? You know, blah blah blah. So that's what I was feeling at that point because she like wanted to make this guy do Pilates. And I was like, girl, while I would love to do Pilates with you, like that can't be your criteria. And it goes back to just what I think in general about people having like dumb things or things that I think are dumb as requisites for someone they date. Like if you truly, and this is a thing I think that the young can deal with. When you get to my age, you start to just look at what's truly important. Like, do they brush their teeth in the morning? You know? Do they know how to clean their home? Do they wash their body? Do they have a savings? How are they socially? Can you take them in public? Are they rude to servers? You know, like, are they financially fit? What are their goals? Like, are they ambitious? Are they just somebody who's just never gonna grow in their career or do anything that truly makes them happy because they haven't found out what makes them happy? Like, those are the things that I think about. But it's because I think I'm at the end of the road. I'm not, but that's what it feels like. It low key feels a little bit like I'm at the bloody end of the road. And so I, have to kind of not take whatever, but just kind of be more accepting and understanding of like where people are. And I don't have to have these like lofty ideas of this perfect person because does the perfect person even exist? I mean, he might, but that's why I'm also a little annoyed when people who are 25 and younger go on dating shows like this, Ultimatum and stuff like that, because I'm like, you truly do not know who you are if you are in a big city. If you're in a small town, yeah, get married at fucking 19. I don't care. How many? One, two. I bought a lot of garlic. This is probably not 40. Is it 40? No, wait. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Oh. I really just need one more of these and I'm good. Not even this, but I'll put it in there. Then I have 3 more left for life. So I have to make a lot of garlic stuff coming up. Well, not a lot because it gives me headaches sometimes. But anyway, so that's why I'm kind of against like young people doing these shows because I feel like you truly don't know who you are and you have unrealistic expectations. And it's harder and harder these days to like be successful at a young age, even though it seems like Cole and Bartice are at a young age pretty successful. But anyways, I feel like Bartice really shows his ass in this show with how young he is and the stupid decisions that he makes, but we'll get there. So SK has a face routine, which, I love. And then we have a scene with Bartice and Zainab where we start to see how Zainab does not see herself. She doesn't smell her own breath, which is impossible to do. But she also doesn't like smell her own armpits. Like there's something like wholly self-unaware about this person. Now I know she's kind of been going on a campaign tour right now to kind of clear her name, especially after the reunion show, the last bit of the reunion. Hi Anaya, thank you for making it. Um like we really were like, cuz she was so adamant, girl. And okay, I'm not going to skip. But we see how kind of crazy she is about the difference between great and good, and how immediately the next morning after they had sex, she has regrets because she feels like, "Oh, he didn't roll over and hug me." And we start to realize that this girl has some kind of interesting um self-esteem issues. She yeah, very interesting self-esteem issues that are basically the overarching theme of this show. And I saw something that she like wrote on Instagram that was like, "I'm sorry I'm not this, I'm sorry I'm not that." I'm just one little sliver of what you saw on TV. And I don't want to be somebody who says, "Well, that's why you ain't got a man," because I think that that's counterproductive. But I think that we can see some big flaws in her, and how it is, she's a prime example of why it's super important to love yourself before you start to get into relationships, because your self doubt and your self issues becomes someone else's problem, and it becomes a fire that they didn't create, that they are constantly having to try to put out. And I think that it's unfair, and it's especially unfair to have a little ass boy like Bartice with a woman who constantly needs to be reassured. A and B will have her reassurance shattered once that man tells her that he is attracted to someone else who in her mind looks the exact opposite of her. Listen, I don't know about Caucasian culture. I don't know about it enough to truly speak on this. However, the fact that Zainab looks at, what was her name? Ballerina, don't know, Colleen, and goes, "Oh, that's what you want? That's not me." I'm like, truly, what is the difference? Her hair is just a little lighter than yours. She's a little smaller than you are, like shorter. I'm talking about Colin Zainab right now. It just the fact that you were so, it's like there's some trauma there from like I don't know, grade school, where she wasn't blonde enough or wasn't white looking enough to be seen as pretty, and so now she like has a complex. 2 4 6 8 10 12 14 16 18 20. Oh, I got some more up. Great. And it's hard for me to kind of watch because as an outsider, like I guess I can get it from like if it was like a colorist perspective, but like truly, like, girl, you are like fucking beautiful. Like Zainab is really hot. And the fact that you're living in a Kim Kardashian world right now, ma'am. Like, I guess I could see her point. No, I couldn't. But let's just say I could see her point if this was 2005. This was 99. We are living in a post Kardashian world. We are living in a world where arguably, one of the most beautiful women is a half Armenian woman named Kim Kardashian West, who, even though she's had surgery and she's had stuff done, is a dark haired beauty and has made it, her and her sisters, has made it like popular to be so. Popular to be curvy. And so the fact that there are still some women out there who are kind of hung up on it is interesting to me. I'm not saying they're wrong for feeling that because again, like I said, it's a culture that I'm not a part of. So who am I to truly be like she shouldn't be feeling that way? But I feel like we are in a space, personally for me, from this weight that I've gained, I actually don't feel as bad because I'm living in a time where being curvier or thicker is not shunned the way it once was, like when I was growing up. And I didn't even know I internalized that because I've always been thin. But the fact that like I somehow still internalized that gaining weight wasn't good or was seen as like a negative The fact that I'm standing here today, like fully, like where I'm like, yeah, I could be healthier, and sure, my belly gets in the way. And yeah, there was once a time where I could look straight down and see her, and I can't see her now. It is, but it's still like, I'm still fine. If that's your issue, then move on. So, anyways, we see her like get mad at him because she's not good at these games, and all he's trying to do is show her how to play the game. And it's like a giant game of chess, it's cornhole, and she's not even trying because she thinks it's dumb. Now listen, I would think it's dumb too. However, if I'm on a honeymoon with somebody who I've just chosen to make my partner, I'm not going to complain when it's free and I don't actually have to go to work. Like, there's plenty of time to complain when you guys are in the real world. And she was already complaining about him in the vacation world, like, oh, you put your stuff everywhere, like, and being passive aggressive. And he was very clear. He's like, can you please stop being passive aggressive? Can you just say what it is that you want? Like, I don't even notice that I put things there. Strike number one. But also, like, be healthy about it. And that's the one thing I think I was annoyed with about Zainab, is that for someone who was in her 30s, I would expect her to be a little bit more healthy about the way she goes about things. I feel like someone like Nancy was like a good example. So speaking of Nancy, let's move on. Bartise and his dumbass. I think I take it personally when black people, or people who I would consider black, do things that I just find are to be abhorrent. And I think that Bartise made a lot of different moves that I wasn't with, and I think it was simply because he, I don't know, I don't know. I can say all the things that I want to say, but it's probably not true and mildly offensive, so I don't want to say them. But something's wrong with Bartise. The fact that he could have somebody like Nancy sitting in his bed and him not think that she is beautiful and hot is wild. She is cute and hot on her attitude alone, simply on that personality, girl. Like, Giselle, I agree with you. Giselle just says, um, I was like, if all the women were Zainab is the most, wait, I, if all the women there, Zainab is the most gorgeous, but people were like, Puna over Raven and Colleen. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it either. Not to say that they're not beautiful, but I wouldn't say that they're more beautiful than Zainab. But what made Zainab not beautiful was that funky ass attitude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just didn't like the way she was treating Cole. I didn't like the way she was treating Cole. So um Anaya says Bartice was sexually attracted to Nancy but didn't find her attractive. Men are so weird sometimes. People are so weird sometimes with that. Whereas, like, sometimes I feel like people who identify as male tend to go, we get along so well, but I really want the girl that I think I belong with based on looks. I want the girl that my friends will think is hot. That's who I want. And that's when I'm like, that is so stupid. Like, I've never looked for a guy that my friends would think was handsome. I truly would not care what my friends thought. In fact, I would absolutely want a guy that my friends didn't think was handsome. So, like, there wasn't any jealousy or them bitches trying to come from my man's name. That's truly how I feel. So the fact that there are men out there who just like walk around wanting to impress other men in their circles, like with everything, with their car, with their job, with their wives, with their children, with their skill set, like, men really be out here trying to impress other men, and it's wild. It is wild. I really think you should be trying to impress yourself and just kind of doing what you want to do. But again, we're social creatures, and it might be like low key travel mentality, girl. I don't know. But anyways, so let me bring up my notes again. I'm just gonna have the most garlicky of garlic smelling hands. I wish I had one of those stainless steel. Oh, maybe I can use some lemon. I think lemon neutralizes the smell. I also have some parsley, and that neutralizes smell too. Okay, so I put Barber confesses to Batiste about Zainab and Colleen. Fuck, I don't know what I was trying to say. Who's Barber? Anyways, or what misspelling was that? Bartice and Zinab, are you regretting am I your type? So they start to talk about each other's types, and I'm not sure where in this we have pooled conversation that like brought single-handedly brought down all these couples. Like that conversation between Cole and fucking what's her face, Colleen. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be in the pods, but wow, did that conversation just like derail and f everything up. Wow. Wow. It's like that was like catastrophe 2.0. It was like the biggest thing that ever happened, and it took over the storyline, and it was such a small thing. And everybody was like, you don't do that. You're married to that person or your fiance, so you should respect the process. And I kept thinking, like, didn't they do that in season 1? Like, wasn't that a thing in season 1 where they like did say like, oh, you know, I really like this person, or I thought I would be with that person, but you're great. Like, why was this now like the worst offense ever created? Hi, Angelica. Why was this the worst offense that was ever literally created? I was so confused about that. But it sparked this whole thing with Zenab, and she couldn't get over it, even though he apologized. And then Matt, is that his name? Ballerina guy? Like Matt, I mean, fully went I wrote abusive down, so maybe we're not there yet. So I wrote Alexa is messy. Okay, I wrote Colleen's Matt's talking on the boat about the cast. Matt says that he was besties with Alexa. Oh yeah, Matt actually says that the only person that he kind of liked, and it wasn't even on a sexual level with, was Alexa. Like him and Alexa got along really well. And but she was always his first choice. And as we know, Colleen got dumped like 2 times before she settled on Matt, and it feels a low key like she settled on Matt, because if she hadn't, then nobody would have chosen her. So then we have like a situation. I think this is probably episode 5, where we get to each other's houses and we realize like people are messy, and Alexa is the one that is like, she's got stuff all over the place, but Alexa's like chill. She's got her own like nice ass apartment. She's got some family money, like I can see that's, you know, happening there. But or she lives in a place where she was able to like afford the cost of living. Like I'm really kind of all over the place with that, because California is so darn expensive. And then I moved to Minnesota, and I'm like, you can get a nice apartment for the price of what you could get you can get a luxury apartment here and probably elsewhere from. Then you can't get a luxury apartment for that price in California. So it was nice to see it. I said Alexa is messy and wants to change his clothes because she doesn't like the way Brennan dresses. And I'm like, I'm here for it. And Nancy says that her and Raven are different. Batiste has an answer to his and says that he and Raven would have great energy, but with Nancy, it was natural. So this is when he tells Nancy, so Batiste is stupid too, or Bartise. He tells Nancy that when he saw Raven, he was like, oh my God, she's a smoke show. And you're telling someone who is almost the exact opposite. I mean, more of opposites than bloody Zainab and Colleen, that's who you would normally go with. And she's a smoke show. And because you guys, they both garner attention and people would gravitate towards them. And I absolutely love the way that Raven curbed Bartise. Like, I felt like Raven was like, oh, you dumped me, so stick with that, sir. You dumped me, so you're not going to come here and now be regretful. Like, get out of my face. I'm here for SK. And so she shut him down immediately when he came to her like, yeah, I guess we would be a show-stopping couple. And she's like, so? But I mean, also, like, she was the one doing jumping jacks while he was talking too. So she did not care about Bartise at all. I think that she probably heard in his voice that he is somebody that she would normally gravitate towards. Because you remember, she said that she was usually into like the muscly guys because she wanted to have a certain type of like workout lifestyle. And so for this experiment, she was going to try something new, try for a different type of guy. And so SK was that guy. I was actually quite shocked that he was taller than her. For whatever reason, I would think SK was giving me like short, you know? So loved that. Nancy at pool party asking SK about touchy feely with Raven. SK wants to love her the way the Raven way. Oh yeah, SK said something cute. He's like, she does things differently. Like she wants to take things slowly. So I want to like love Raven the way Raven wants to be loved. Oh, Angelica, yes, he did. He did film short. And I was like, that's so sweet. Because if it were me, I would be annoyed. Like, I guess if I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to be all in. So I'm going to need my person to act like they signed up to be on a TV show and to not like, it's when I watch like Married at First Sight and people go slow and like don't want to have sex before they get married and shit like that. I'm always like, why are you on this show? Get out of here. We're going to waste our time. But he was willing to do that. And so I was happy for Raven to that extent. Happy that she was able to get somebody who was willing to do things as slowly as she did things. And so there was no tension when it came to that. So they seemed to get along well. And at this point, I didn't think they were going to last, honestly. Because I didn't think that she was open enough to the process. We find out that Brennan was like a 2-minute man. I don't know what happened. Did Alexa say that? Did Alexa like tell us that it was quick? I don't want no 1-minute man. So Zainab says that she doesn't want to look whipped or ugly because Colleen is there. And again, that narrative is getting like, you're a grown woman. You're a 33-year-old woman who's like intimidated by the looks of a 25-year-old. Like, Zainab, I need you to go get some therapy, girl, and get over that. Like, work on yourself for a minute. Like, you can't be having kids with that mentality, especially girls. You don't want to teach your girls that, like, hey, this is the girl that makes me feel uncomfortable about myself, because they pick up on that shit. I don't know. They might feel bad about themselves. I bet you that little Northwest is probably feeling like, my mom is hot and I'm hot, which is what you want to give off. Now, I don't know that. I'm just saying. Okay, Bartice wants Raven to want her as they click to very impressed at a girl poor on paper. Oh, he kept saying on paper. That's who. Well, so annoying. He's so annoying. I put Bartice unload later on Alexa about Zay. Raven says Matt was forgetting Brennan and Alexa plus Colleen and Matt perfect. Bartice tells, oh, I started calling Cole Barlett because doesn't he look like Barnett from season 1? Barnett tell Carlene that it was hard for him to say no to her. He loves Zay, but has to go with his gut. Oh yeah, this is the pool party. This is like the pool gate is what I want to call it. Pool gate, Love is Blind season 3. Apparently they're filming season 4, and I wonder if they all know that when you come out of the pods that you can't tell the second person you had a connection with that you physically that you are who they would like. Because I feel like there has to be a moment where you say the things that are on your heart. I mean, I don't know, but you still honor your person. Raven. Oh yeah, this is Bartice. Raven and I would look stunning together. Remember then he told Nancy that night like an idiot? So Nancy now has all of this in her mind when she's given a chance on this young buck when she didn't have to, because she didn't want to give him the chance. Wow, I've been talking for 40 minutes. Let's move on. Let's move on to episode 6. So at episode 6, they move in with each other. This is the part that I jumped the gun because I wanted to move on to the juicy bits. So they move in with each other on episode 6. So this is not 40 cloves of garlic, but like truthfully, can I cut any more cloves? I guess I can. Colleen is ready for wedding plan. This is what I put. They move in with each other. Matt says that they grew from the last night's fight. Oh my god! I remember when he like freaked out on her. I really did feel like she was like trying to make it work with him and was like crying. And I wanted her to get out and spend some time away from him because his reaction was wild. Now, in real life, I know people get upset. You get upset, right? And so you might be able to see a little bit of yourself in him, but girl, I felt like you're on TV and you can't control yourself. Like what happens behind the scene? That's my only thing. And it even in the reunion, like I felt like she was like deer in headlights a little bit. It's like, Colleen, girl, blink if you're okay. So they get their phone back, and then we find out that I find out, I wrote Bartiz is half black and half white, because at that point I thought maybe he was like an Afro Latino. Like I didn't know what his ethnicity was, so I found this out and I wrote it down, because for whatever reason it was mildly important to me to know, because I just felt like the fact that he told that's why I think it was weird for me, because I thought he was Afro Latino, and for him to like say that to this beautiful Latina, like I was like, oh boy, you need to get your like, there's something wrong with you. As though she wasn't, as beautiful. Girl, she's beautiful. So Cole does not separate his laundry, and Zay is nagging him about it. His family doesn't want to be a part of the process, so they opt out. And they at that point don't want to meet her at all. And so that really upsets Zainab. I think that really enforces the fact that she feels less than because she isn't white enough for him. Like it is bananas that she is so affected by the fact that his parents didn't want to be a part of this like dumb social experiment, right? Like you can't expect everybody's family to be with it. This is like Married at First Sight. The same thing happens. Like people's families just aren't with it, So you have to like a lot for that. You've watched season 1. You've watched the seasons. We didn't see Cameron's family at all, did we? I don't think so. Maybe we did. I don't know. We didn't see somebody's family because people have a right to not want to be a part of that. But she was making it seem like she's like, oh yeah, his family follows me on social media, but they haven't reached out to me yet. It's like she was really making it like they were just hating on her, and that they said something to him like, oh, she doesn't look like your type. It was pretty intense. You're not from around here, are you? That's what it was giving me vibes of. Like, what's her name? It isn't Stephanie. I dropped a full. Look at this amazing full clove of garlic that I dropped. Ugh. So annoyed. It was a good one too. It wasn't any of these stupid small ones. Okay, so Ashy Lipped SK tells he is the world. What? I said put Ashy Lipped SK. So his lips were ashy at some point. So I just wanted to say that. We find out a lot about Nancy and the fact that Nancy, like, girl, she is making that money do what money does. Hey, Babs. She's making that money do what money does. Okay. She's partnered with her ex and she's like flipping houses, and they broke up, but they're still business partners. And Bartiz is like, oh wow, I didn't know you did all this. I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, like she's like a boss. I didn't know that. And I was like, oh my God, does that turn you off? That she makes more money than you, and that that she fully sustains and pays her rent because she's a homeowner who has several properties. Like, oh my God, that is trash. Like, come on, really? I as soon as that happened and his reaction wasn't like, cool, how can I get in on this with you? I was like, oh, he needs a woman to make him feel like he's the fucking man. And because he knows that she's financially stable and that he's still in debt and doing whatever, and a child, he feels some kind of way. but you wanted an older woman. This is what happens when you get with somebody who's older than you. Chances are they're going to have stuff you don't have. And you can't try to like get that patriarchy nonsense and feel some kind of way about it. You should just be lucky and happy that she doesn't need you for money, that she already has that. So she's going to be happy. She can buy her own Birkins. Okay. Okay, I'm done with garlic. There might not be 40 here, but there's enough. Look at my knife. I just like wanted to buy myself like nice stuff. This cutting board I'm using is thick. It's wood. This is my knife. And then my cutting board. Ooh, she fancy. These are all my garlic cloves. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It's fine. That's all she's getting. What else happened? Something about job is not his life, family first. Raven is never nervous, worried about getting along with his mom. Oh, Raven meets SK's mom and she goes to eat some Nigerian food and is like, it's good. Girl, I've been wondering what people taste in their mouths when they eat delicious food. What, like when you eat, like what it, maybe it's because I grew up eating lots of different cuisine that when people get weird about eating food that they've never eaten before and they're like, I'm like, you've never had Indian food? And I'm not saying that Nigerian food and Indian food is the same. It's different, completely different flavor profiles. But what I'm saying is that you haven't had food with flavor, huh? You have not had any food that have several layers of bomb in your mouth at the same time. Like, listen, my mouth is watering right now for a samosa. This basic ass shit I'm making right now is nothing compared to like chana and like all that delicious stuff. And then she's like, "Can I eat with a fork?" Girl, no. Okay. Nancy's brothers go in on Bartice after he walks into that house. Like, I think that Bartice really thought, okay, I think that that boy is so used to being people thinking that he's charismatic that he thought he was about to walk into this girl's home with her strong ass family and just charmed the pants out of everybody. And they were not impressed. And I loved every moment of it. Her brothers saw him coming from a mile away. They were like, "Oh, he think he cute. He's not cute enough for Nancy." I'll tell you that right now. And the mother was like, "I'll be watching you like a hawk." Brother was unimpressed to the point where Batiste was getting like a little offended. He was getting a little offended. They were just like, "Okay, so bro, what do you like about my sister? She's kind-hearted, she's sweet, she makes me a better man." Yeah, she does that for everybody. Why do you love her? Hmm? Hmm? What? That's it? And the older brother was like, "All right, we'll give him a chance." The younger one was like, "Nah." The younger one was like, "No, no." All right, you guys. It's time for the tequila. It's time for the tequila. So we're gonna drink some tequila now. The tequila I'm drinking is Caramana. I don't know if it's good or not. They didn't have what I wanted. So again, I'm in Minnesota. I'm not in California anymore. So let me taste a little bit of it before I. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. We're gonna do 2.5 ounces. Oof. Some lime. I like to add my lime in here. Now, that might be like the trashy way, but call me basura then. And then we're going to do some keen lime liqueur. Salud. Okay. So the directions say in a large bowl, combine the chicken thighs, the herbs, the red pepper flakes, the salt, the pepper, the lemon juice, and olive oil. Where did I put olive oil at? Lightly coat the interior of the ceramic pot with cooking spray. Layer in the chicken, the garlic, the celery, the onions in the pot. Oh, I didn't cut the onions. Ross. Oh, I thought we were ready. So the large bowl I have is what it's soaking in. So I'm not going to clear it out and season it in that quite yet because I don't want to get my salmonella poison or. All right. Cutting this shallot. It says a cup of shallots. Jesus Lord. Cup of 1 cup of sliced onions. A whole cup of onions? That's like aggressive, no? Okay. Her brothers weren't into it. He was overwhelmed. And I think this is the beginning of the end for Bartise. I keep saying his name Batiste because it sounds better. I think this is the beginning of the end for him. Like, I think because he didn't charm her family, he wasn't with it. And as we can tell from watching the reunion, he's somebody who needs to be liked or likes to be liked. Then we find out that Raven's parents aren't participating, and SK's Nigerian mother likes Raven, but is a little concerned that her family's not participating in the process. He says that Bartise says that Nancy brings out the best in everybody. And the brother asks, if she gained 400 pounds, would you still be with my sister? And Bartise could not answer that question. I was actually quite shocked at that. I was like, oh yeah, you're young. The fact that I'm telling you right now, like, now, you can have your personal preferences. I'm not saying you're wrong if you feel this way. But if you're on national TV, you better say yes. Okay? Also, like, if you really love somebody, no matter how much weight they gain, because here's the truth, like, there was once upon a time in my life where my answer would have been the same. But mainly because I'm like, it's for health reasons and not because I'm like judging them. It's more so of like, if you loved me, you wouldn't let yourself get to be 500 pounds because then you would take yourself away from me. Like, if you loved yourself, you would work on that. So like as if I were in a relationship with someone and they gain that much weight, would I leave them? No. Would I love them less? Absolutely not. But we would have to go to therapy and go to counseling to figure out what their issues are, because and I said this before, one of the things that I'm so grateful for is that my parents take care of their health, is that they actively do the things that they can to avoid it. Now I feel like if we're going to say that like addiction is a drug, or addiction, I mean, abuse, if we're going to say that addiction is a disease, I think the same can be said for people who don't take care of themselves. Because there are people who will go to the doctor and the doctor will tell them that they're pre diabetic and they're not diabetic yet. And all they have to do, which is not easy, is to change their eating habits. And they cannot, because addiction, food is my eyes, onions, because food is an addiction. But I think that there are some people who like to be sick, not like it, but if they weren't the sick person, who would they be? Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this is all people, so I'm not trying to generalize. I'm just saying there's some people. So I would need to, whoever my person is, we would need to talk about exactly what's going on. Because I think part of the thing that I would need from somebody that I love is for them to take care of themselves so that we'd have more time together on this planet. And if their thing was like, no, I can't, or I'm too depressed to do so, part of my job would to be to help them with that. And if I try and they can't get it and it's not working, then I'm like, well, maybe I'm not the right person for you then. Because your quality of life is messing with my quality of life. If you're not going to take care of yourself and love yourself, I can't force you to do so. So, like, that's what I think about that. So, I understand him to a certain extent, but I'm like, his answer on national TV in front of her brothers should have been like, yes, I would still be with your sister because she makes me feel great. And obviously, if Nancy gained 400 pounds, there'd be a larger issue at hand. So, I want you to know that not only would I stay with her and take care of her, but I would do everything in my power to fix the issue that she's having or to help her with it. Like, that is the answer you give, weirdo. And then they go to his family's house. And he does something that I found to be like wild. He brings up her abortion ideas in front of his family. And then his sister starts to cry, girl. And when the sister starts to cry, I was like, oh, I don't want to be in this family. She's like, I can't help but just think of the poor little kid. I 100% understood where Nancy was coming from, and that is her absolute choice. There are women out there, people who find out that their child is going to have special needs and they choose to have their babies. They choose to do it. The doctor gives them the option once they provide the information, explains to them the quality of life. And some people choose to, but that is a deeply personal decision. And if Nancy wants to put her other children, her possible other children, or her marriage before having a child that's going to have a hard go at it, that is her absolute choice to do so. And for him and any other person to sit back and in some kind of holier than thou religious judgment, my eyeballs, say something differently, to me is like, ugh, you're gross. Like, the sister starts to cry, y'all. The sister starts to cry for this hypothetical unborn disabled child. Get out of here. Get out of my face this absolute moment. This right bloody now, get out of my face. Because you can cry for this child, but you're not going to be there at every single doctor's appointment. And neither is Bartice. Everyone loves to be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Are you gonna be there at every single, like, it's so easy to say so. It's so easy to say, I put my life aside and I'll do this and I'll be at every single doctor's appointment. It's so easy to say that. As somebody who lives with a child with special needs, it is so easy for people who don't have that in their lives to make those comments. You have no idea the stress and the change of your life that you can put on a person, and especially if you're in a marriage with someone who is ill-equipped to do it. And the onus always falls on the woman. Always. She's the one that's expected to go to every single doctor's appointment and every single therapy appointment. My eyeballs are burning. It calls for a cup of onions, but girl, that's all the onions we were about to cut right now. Nancy noted that most of the responsibility falls on the mom. Yeah, it really truly does. It really truly does. Think about, I mean, I don't know, are you guys my 90 Day Fiance audience? Yeah, think about what's her name? Albuquerque older lady. Yvette and Theron. Even though Yvette said that she would never trade her for anything under the world, it brought down her relationship with Theron's father. It's a very hard thing. Okay. We find out that SK is going to school in California, and Raven's like, well, I'm not moving. And then this is again, I was like, girl, do you want marriage or not? Oh my God. So then we have Zainab and Cole. And this is where we find out that Cole is like deeply religious, because we get to Zainab's stepmother's house and they start praying. And I was like, oh, okay. So then we go to Alexa's family and we find out that Alexa is more culturally Israeli than Jewish. So it's a loud, boisterous ethnic family. And we find out that, you know, even her and her grandfather are pretty sassy with each other. Also, we find out that her stepmom is like, what, 2 years older than her? Or has had amazing ass plastic surgery. Whatever that woman is doing to her face is great. More than that, Raven asked SK to pay her rent in full while he's a full-time student. Ma'am. She did say that. She's like, well, as my husband, I would expect you to pay. Did she say half the rent? I thought that was pretty wild, but I think SK has money. Like, I think SK set himself up to where he was gonna go to school and still be like good. But I think he was also not planning on like. Also, why did SK do this experiment if he knew he was going to school? Huh? Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the salmonella ass chicken. We're gonna make a layer, and we're gonna season both sides of it. I've got some cooking spray. Oh no, I have cooking spray, but I want to show you guys this. This is a quintessential. Ooh, this is a quintessential TikTok made me buy it. Okay, what it is? It has oil in here, and it has a silicone like baser up here, and you do this, and you suck in the oil up here, which it doesn't. It's kind of slow to do so. Okay, it's got all the oil in here. And now you just take it, especially if you have a nonstick pan, and you just like squeeze and use the little brushes to disperse the oil all over the sides of the thing. I love it. So right now I'm just like rubbing the bottom and the sides of this crock pot thing with oil. I mean, I truly didn't need that much because I didn't really, I skinned the chicken, but it's got a little fat on it. Okay. Now I'm going to take my salmonella ass chicken and put it in here, and I'm going to season one side and flip it over. Okay. So I'm going to season it with salt and pepper, pepper flakes, and that thing I bought. I thought I opened this. I guess I didn't open the salt. So, anywho, SK having to pay his wife's rent. I thought that was wild too. Okay. So, anyone else think that Alexa's stepmom, like, what is her skincare routine and how can I get in on that? That stepmom, I mean, she didn't look that much older. Anyways, so next episode 7, we find out that based on her stepmother's face that Alexa is used to a fabulous life because her father was able to afford it. And there's like 5 kids or 4 kids. So I'm always like interested in like how men are able to provide this fabulous lifestyle for many of their children and their wife. Like it's like wild. They must be like crazy rich, you know? Like, how is he able to like do what he's doing for Alexa unless he's not doing for Alexa, unless Alexa's like truly is just doing it for herself? But I mean, you know, even if you are doing it technically for yourself, the fact that you had a wealthy upbringing always gives you a leg up in the world. You have the opportunity to do like stupid internships for free when, oh my God, I can't get this open. And this was $11, $12. The wild thing about Alexa's family is that they identify as more being Israeli than Jewish. I think there are honestly, like I've met a couple of Israeli people who identify the same way as well. Like there is such a thing as culturally Jewish than religiously Jewish. And I think it's the same thing with Christianity though. Think about it here. Like there are people here who are like, yeah, I believe in God. Yeah, I go to church on Christmas. But they don't really be about that Christian life. You feel me? So I think it happens everywhere. And if you know anything about the illegal occupation of Palestine, you definitely be sighing-eyed. Yeah. Yeah. No one is ugly. We're just broke. That is hilarious. It's called money, Wah. Money. It's not that we are ugly. It's that we don't have money. Oh, that's hilarious. Anyways, what does this shit say? Okay, season in a large bowl, combine chicken thighs, herbs, red peppers, salt, pepper, lemon juice, olive oil. Lightly coat the interior of the shawarma pot, slow cooker with the spray. Layer seasoned chicken, garlic. Okay, I hate when they're like 2 teaspoons of herb de Provence, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper flakes, 1 teaspoon. Like, don't tell me how much salt to put in anything, okay? I will do what I want. Okay? I will season the shit out of this if I want to. Don't tell me to put a quarter teaspoon of red chili flakes. I will put as many red chili flakes as my little heart desire. And whatever this is that has lavender in it, I will do that too. And guess what? I'm going to season both sides. Okay, where was I? All right. So Bartiz has decided that he is going to pull away from Nancy because he didn't like the way her brothers talked to him. Now, that's not what we see on camera, but that's what I only can assume. It's like he's like, "Yeah, I pulled away from her because I'm a fucking kid and I'm feeling insecure right now because her family didn't really like me and like I don't even think she's that hot anyway, so fuck it." Like isn't that what he must have been thinking, guys? Like what else would cause this? And so she just has to deal with it. Poor Nancy just has to deal with this. And it's just like wild to me. I would not deal with that. I'm gonna be like, the moment that person like checks out, I'm checking out too. Zainab and Matt talk. Zainab and Matt, I guess, talk about Poolgate, 2022. And then we have a situation where Nancy and Andrew talk. Remember Andrew? Oh my God. Andrew's situation with the fake tears was banana bangs. Like bananas. But this man surely did. He surely did just get on TV and put in tears. Like he's like, oh, a bunch of eyes are gonna be on this. So let me go on ahead and per fake cry. I think that man will never live it down. In fact, he didn't show up at the tell-all, and we know why. Okay, here's some garlic cloves. Bada boom, bada bang. And then we're going to put on some onions, some cebollas. It's like layer it in. Great. All right, let me put some more chicken on here and I'll be back. Okay, so Bartiz can't tell that she has been crying when she comes to him and starts talking to him about something. Matt needs reassurance from Colleen over and over again. Alexa has a lot of sex with Brennan. Good for them. Bartiz can't get over the abortion, physical attraction, and ex with the property. It's just like, it was just such stupidity. Could you imagine? Like, I just can't get over how much her ex is still in her life. Insecure, 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 insecure. I can't get over the fact that she has all this property. I can't get over the fact that she's not my normal body type. Remember at that point when he talks about his friends? I don't know when this happens, truthfully, but there's a moment where he's like, yeah, I talked to my friends about it. And they were like, oh, really? Her? The fuck? You talk to your friends about it? That's wild. Who cares what your dumb friends think? Your friends are dumb. They're young dummies. Okay? No one cares what young dummies think. Least of all me. So get off my TV with your young dummies. Flipping the chicken so that I can season the other side of the chicken. Other side of the chicken. Chicken with the other side. This is probably a lot of seasoning, but I'm not going to put salt on this side. I think I put enough salt. Red pepper flakes. Whatever this is. Some kind of lavender or something. I'll just put that much salt. Great. Okay. And it wants a little bit of olive oil. I'm just gonna pour what's. I dropped it in there. It's salmonella. Oh my god. Okay, we're going to layer on our cebollas and just put on the rest of it. We'll just put the whole thing on here. Let's just move this out. Okay. Shall I show you? I'll show you. Oy, 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 oy. There it is. Okay, and then we are going to pour in our wine and our chicken stock. How much wine? It is a half a cup of white wine and a quarter tablespoon of chicken stock. Is it 1/4 tablespoon of? I bought this entire thing for a quarter of a tablespoon? No. What is the point of putting this much chicken stock in anything? That must be wrong. That must be wrong. That must be wrong. Okay. Okay. A half cup. Salud. Oh, it's getting a half cup. It's getting a half cup. I mean, maybe it shouldn't get a half cup. Oh my god. It's just going to get that much. Because I feel like it's going to be on for 8 hours and it'll just be super juicy. So super juicy. All of that. Okay. Let's move on. Sorry, my back is hurting. Matt freaks out because Colleen goes out with the girls and he's like worried, and he gets over to Baptiste's house and he like just goes off. Then we go to episode 8 where Colleen is doing ballet and she thinks that he's dumb. Batiste is annoying and isn't having sex with Nancy. SK and Raven. Everyone thinks she's not wife material and they're not compatible. I think this is where she has her wedding dress fitting, or at least the part of the Nigerian culture that she's willing to participate in. And then Cole apologizes to Zainab and they lock their locks on a fence and he pretends to drop it and she like freaks out. They start to do their wedding dress shopping. Bartiste's friends told him that Nancy isn't his type. The Nigerian family is mad that What's-Her-Face's family is not going to be there, and Raven feels like he isn't on her side. She's like, what does everybody want from me? The fact that my family's not here, like, why is it such a big deal? I can't make them come. And I was like, is his family really that upset? That's weird. So it just makes it seem like they're fighting each other, which I don't think that they're actually fighting. Then we have an episode where Batiste gets better and he finally like starts to like Nancy again, and they get forever bracelets. And I put that Batiste is a showman. He wants to convince us that he knows what he's doing. There's a yarmulke fitting for Brennan, And then that's when we get with the sassy grandpa. And sassy grandpa tells Brennan that, oh, guess what? Your kids are going to be Jewish because she's Jewish. So welcome to the family, Mazel Tov. And he's like, okay, yes, sir. And I was like, I love Brennan. Okay, let me get the crock pot ready. Crock pot. Why can't I say that word? Ooh, it's a retractable cord. Look at this. The cord is like the cord is like retractable. Do I push a button and it goes back in? Oh, who knows? Okay, it says I need to set the timer once I plug it in. Let's take off this fake thing. I need to put it on low. It says cover and press the on button until to turn the unit on. Set to 8 hours and press low. Slow cooker will automatically switch to warm when cooking has lapsed. I plan on sleeping in tomorrow, so that's great. Okay. Should I move over to the couch and have my bebidas and finish eating my food? I feel like I should. And then I'll clean up after I'm off the phone with y'all. Off the phone. Hilarious. Okay. Let's make a transition. Hold on to your butts. Here we go. Check the bass, man. The bass get lower. Boop. Oh. Hold on. Looks like I need something to prop this up on, like my books that I normally have on. Everything was going so well until that. Oh, let me get my drink. Ooh, girl, she can't wait to have a drink. Let me get that drink. Let's get some drinks. It's time for some drinks. I'm gonna keep saying it. Oh, hi. Hi. Let's put this down. Let's do that. Let me get my drink. I refreshed my drink. Okay. Obviously, I'll clean up later. Oh, it's 11. Okay. I'm only on episode 9. Joslo. Well, I haven't gotten to episode 9 yet, so we're good. Ooh, follow me on Instagram. I'll take a picture of the food tomorrow. That way you could see it. Oh, good. I'm glad you don't care. Okay, great. So we can talk. All right. So I loved Alexa and her grandfather. That was so cute. I love the way that her parents ride for her, or her father and her grandfather ride for her. I loved it. I also love the way Brennan was just so like, I don't care. I do what I got to do, sir. I love her. I don't care. I'll do whatever I have to do. And I said, it's great. I want a man to be as dedicated to me as Cameron is as dedicated to Cameron from season 1 is dedicated to whatever her name was, and the way Brennan is dedicated to Alexa. Okay. So at this point, I really start to feel that Zainab is self-sabotaging and that she doesn't want to marry Cole. She is being very nitpicky. This is the episode with the chicken. This is the episode where this woman comes into this house annoyed and negative. And as we found out in the reunion, she was most likely hungry. So she doesn't like the fact that he is cooking dinner for her and he flips the chicken. It's annoying, but it's like I would have been annoyed too, but that was like the flipping of the chicken. I mean, there was just so many other things that she could have done and she just couldn't tell. And I'm the same way. Like sometimes when I'm cranky, I can't tell I'm being cranky. Hi, Paula K. So she couldn't tell she's being cranky. She gets into that house and he is cutting up Brussels sprouts. She doesn't like Brussels sprouts, so she's annoyed with that. And he's trying to cook for her because he's been saying like, I'm a good cook, and I want to cook for you. Oh, you know what I skipped over? I skipped over his bathroom. A man with a bathroom like that can't cook for me. A man whose bathroom has flies in the toilet, I don't even want him to touch me. If you can't flush your shit down the toilet before you're going to leave for a 6-week experiment, if you cannot flush your shit down the toilet, so yeah. I mean, if I were leaving right now, I'm moving in. So I have things all over the place. I have things I was it's bad. I have things in boxes and I'm like, "Oh, tomorrow." I've been working though, so that's why. I started the journey. Chris and I started the journey on Thursday the 10th. We landed in Minneapolis on Sunday the 13th. I hired movers to help me unpack my van, and they were late, like 4 hours late. And so I moved in on Monday, and I am scattered to the winds. I'm not my normal organized like self because I have been crazy for the last week and a half. Like, I'm going to tell you that I started probably packing. No, let me go back. We're going to put a pause on Love is Blind right now. Let me tell you what my November has been like. Let's get out the calendar. Today is November 18th. Okay. October 31st is Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. On that day, I was at my parents' house. Okay. That weekend, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th, I went to the Trixie Motel with my good friend Dorothy. So the 28th, 29th, and the 30th, I was in Palm Springs. The 31st, I get back and I'm at my parents' house and I'm giving out candy. The 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, I go to work. The 4th, I probably go to work too, maybe. The 5th, I fly out to Minneapolis. The 5th and the 6th, I look at apartments. I fly out on Monday the 7th back to LA. But the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th, I'm looking at apartments and I'm driving around the city and walking around rather the city, driving a little bit, but mostly walking to kind of get the lay of the land because it's a full city like New York City. It's like has skyscrapers and buildings and shit. So all I wanted to do was just feel the vibes of an actual city and just like stomp around, you know. It was like I was in heaven. It was like when I went to Seattle and I loved it. I just love being in a city, feeling like a little ant walking around tall buildings. It makes me very happy. So I'd like a downtown like feel. So I'm in the city. I'm in this downtown area. I'm walking around, I'm loving it. I look at one apartment on Sunday, which is this one right here. I look at 5 apartments on Monday. And on Monday, I leave at like 6:30 p.m. So I have to make a decision on which place and I'm going to put my down payment on Monday the 7th. I choose this place. I come back here, I put my deposit down, I choose this apartment layout, and I get on a plane and I go back to California. Then I go to work on like, no, maybe I don't. Maybe I go to work on the 8th. Maybe. Probably not though. I don't remember. So then I have the 8th and the 9th to pack up everything, rent a van, put said items in van, including this couch and other big items. And I sell my car on the 8th or the 9th. Can't remember which. Okay. So I pick up a van and I sell my car within 2 days. Then load that up the night of the 9th and the morning of the 10th. Not only do I have to load it up, I also have to clean the space that I was in, make it spick and span so that there's no drama with the person I was living with. So I do a deep clean before I leave. Then I get in that van and Chris and I drive for 6 hours in the dark in a van that I'm not used to driving till we get to Zion, Utah. Then we spend the night in Zion, Utah. It is cold. I'm not prepared for the cold. I am, but not mentally. I'm sorry. I am mentally prepared for it, but not physically prepared for it. So I didn't have the right jacket out. Where my puffy coat was, who knows? I just didn't. I was like, oh, I'll be fine with this coat. I wasn't fine with that coat. Okay. Plus, before I leave the area, I have to drive to my parents' house to pick up other things that I had at their house that I needed to pick up. And I'm pretty sure there's stuff I left there. So we get to Zion Thursday night. Then we wake up on Thursday and we walk around Zion. And if you follow her on Instagram, you'd have seen it. We do like a little river walk. We don't walk through the Narrows, but we, do a little walk, hike. And then we get back in the van and she drives this like either, I think it's like 8 hours. Plus we stop a few times to get gas and to eat until we get to Jackson, Wyoming. So from Zion to Jackson, Wyoming. And by the time we get to Jackson, Wyoming, we're going up a mountain and it is dark. It gets dark at like 5:30. And these are roads with no lights. We're not on a highway. We're on like a two-way road with just two lanes, one going one way, one going the other way. The only light we have is the light from our vehicle. And every other moment is a sign saying, beware of animals. So the whole time we're like mildly worried we're going to run into a deer. And if we hit a deer, who's going to pay for this van? Because I've already paid $4,000 to rent it to move across the country one way. I can't afford to pay for any flat tire, nothing. Okay. I don't have it. I can't. It's going to just run me into the ground if I do it. I mean, I had it. I could have. I didn't want to because I'm moving. I need all the pennies that I can get. So we get to Jackson. It's Brick City, but we have a decent hotel. And we go into this space and sleep. And Chris and I have two different sleep habits. And I'm super cranky because I'm hungry when I get there. She has to listen to white noise on her way to sleep because I snore. And like the white noise does nothing, but it has like it like there I hear it unconsciously. Have you ever noticed that when you're in certain spaces and you can hear the air conditioning running and the moment it goes off, you're like, oh, thank God. But the whole time you didn't know you were on edge because you were hearing the sound. And you only know that you were on edge when the sound goes away. That is what that white noise is like for me. It's not even white noise. I think it's like brown noise or something. It's some noise that I can't manage. And so it's hard for me to sleep with it, but she has to sleep with it. Otherwise she doesn't sleep. So it's like either one of us is not sleeping and the other one is, or one is sleeping and the other one's not. It's terrible. So the next morning I tell her we cannot drive at night because at this point I recognize that I'm in a town or towns. I'm in a part of the country I've never been in. I'm in a part of the country is very rural and there's not a lot of people that look like me. And it's Trump town. And I don't know the reaction of these people. I do not know. I'm terrified. Let me just be honest with you. I'm scared, but at that time, I don't know that I'm scared or why I'm scared. I just know I'm on edge because I think it's because I'm moving and I have a lot on the line and everything I own is in the back of this van. But once I settled down and like once I got to like whatever, I started to realize it's because like there are sundown towns and I don't know these sundown towns, right? So we decided to get up early and drive. Chris is not a morning person, so getting up in the morning was very hard for her. And I'm like, we need to leave at sunrise because everything, like the sun starts to set at 5 p.m. So even if we leave at 6 a.m., we only have like 10 hours, 11 hours of sunlight. Like, and then the ride is 9 hours. Plus we have to stop and get gas. And then we need to stop for breaks and to eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a 9-hour day is really like a 10 and a half, 11-hour day. So we race the sun. It's like, you know what I felt like it was? Have you guys seen Bram Stoker's Dracula? Where there's a scene where Dracula is racing the sun to get to his like home so that he could be buried in his like castle grounds so that he could revitalize himself. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. And like, I'm stressed and worried. And I don't think Chris is on the same level as me because she doesn't know about sundown towns or what they are and like doesn't understand that and like has no concept of it. And B, for her, it's like a fun adventure. For me, it's like a freaking stressful thing of like, I have to get here. I cannot run into an animal. I don't want a flat tire. Nothing can delay this because the delays are going to cost me money and no one's going to help me pay for these delays. Plus, when I get there, I have to buy furniture. I had to buy a bed on the way. Driving. Hey, can you deliver a bed by Monday? No, Wednesday? Fine. I'll just sleep on the couch. Like, that's what it was. So, like, I just sleep on this couch one day, so it was like really stressful. So, finally, like the last leg of the trip was like the best leg. Um, we eat in this small South Dakotan town where we walk in and like everyone immediately turns and stares at us. I'm the only black person for 100-yard like a radius, like 100-mile radius. Like I didn't see another black person on the road until I got to Wall, South Dakota, and it was one black person inside of like Wall Drug, which is like this huge, like huge store. It had like a drugstore section, it had a souvenir section, it had like a place you can eat, it just had a bunch of stuff, but it was so cute inside and everybody was super friendly. Don't get me wrong, people were friendly. That was also scary. It's like, am I being friendly? So there's a lot. So let's get back to my timeline. So we get to Minnesota right as the sun sets on Sunday. But by the time the sun sets, we're already on a major, like regular, what I would consider a regular highway with lights and lit signs and no animal crossings. Jocelyn, sundown towns. So sundown towns are towns in the United States and probably parts of Canada, who knows, where as a person of color or maybe a gay person or anyone who isn't heterosexual and white, where you really shouldn't be caught after sundown. If anything happens to you after sundown, like no one's going to help you. And if they see you in their town after sundown, you're fair game for abuse. It's not friendly to you at that time. So anyways, that's just what happens. I moved in August and still ain't unpacked. So we get in Sunday the 13th, and I'm still anxious because I still have to get the movers to move the stuff. Just like I have to pay rent to move in, so I don't get the keys until Monday. And then just anxious about everything. I'm just anxious. I'm just an anxious person. I didn't want to break anything. I didn't want to break any rules with the apartment complex. Like I haven't lived on my own in 7 years. I haven't lived in my own apartment in 7 years. Like just a lot. So I don't have a lot of anything. I don't have anything, in fact. We get into the home and then I have to organize and figure out where to put everything. And like, it can't just be in my own thoughts. I also have to give direction to someone else and tell them where to put stuff and what to do. So it's not like I just get here and then like I don't have to think anymore. I still have to like give direction to somebody else, find things for me to do. A lot of the times I just found myself aimlessly walking around, picking up something, putting it somewhere else, picking up something else, putting it somewhere else, not truly organizing or opening a drawer, being like, what is all this nonsense in this drawer? Like, why did this happen? And then like, like not even be able to make a decision, but only being able to see what's done incorrectly, which is annoying. And yeah. And also just like being hungry and forgetting to eat. So that's happened on Monday. Tuesday, I went and bought a car. Because remember, I sold my car, so I have no car. I only have the van that I drove in with. So Tuesday, I have to, in the snow, drive the van to the place where I drop it off at. And it's lots of snow. It's not a little snow. It's a lot of snow. So slowly driving that van for the first time in weather, getting to the place, dropping it off, then Ubering to the car dealership, getting there, not liking the deal that they're offering me. So getting in an Uber again, going to another car dealership, only to get to that car dealership and have them tell me that all the cars that I want to buy, they don't have available at the time, that are in transit, and they'll have it to me in a couple days. No, I have work tomorrow. I have work on Wednesday. This is Tuesday. So I have to get back into the Uber and I have to call my insurance and tell them that I'm in another state and I'm buying another car. They then inform me that they don't practice in the state that I'm in. So I'm going to have to find more insurance. So I call the dealership I'm going back to, which is the first one I was at. And I say, hey, do you have anybody on site to give me insurance? And they're like, no, we don't have an Allstate representative anymore here on site. And I'm like, do I need insurance to drive off the lot? Yeah, you do need insurance to drive off the lot. Cool. So I called AAA. I'm like, I'll just do AAA. Who knows? Call AAA. AAA is like, oh, wait, we need a declaration of insurance from your old insurer. What is that, sir? Oh, yeah. In Minnesota, your driving record matters for insurance and your previous insurance information matters. So I know in California it doesn't. Like you can just call and get insurance and you're fine. But here we need your old insurer to provide proof that you had insurance with them and for how long and what your record was. And we also need your social security so we can run it to see if there's been any issues. Okay. So I get back to the first dealership and I'm on the phone with the insurance while he's like talking to me like, yeah, we're going to get you this car. You're going to finance through. I'm talking to two different people at one time. He's like, so when you go on ahead and get your insurance, then we can start the process. So as I'm doing the insurance person is like, do you have a VIN number to the car you want? And I'm like, well, I haven't bought it yet. Well, you don't have to buy it yet, just for the one you want. Okay, can I have the VIN number for that car? Sure. So I get the VIN number, I get the insurance, I buy the car, I put the money down, I get it financed. Then it's actually the car on the showroom floor. So they drive the car that everybody and their mama has been sitting in and touching and looking at. And I'm like, can you guys sanitize that? And they're like, sure, we'll clean it down. I see one man in there with one rag, just like wiping down the steering wheel. I'm like, I'm going to need you to disinfect that entire vehicle as we are in the times of the COVID. That didn't happen. So they pull the showroom car out. And Chris and I hop in that car and we go to Chick-fil-A because by then I am starving like Marvin. We've been there for like 3 hours. Get in the car, go to Chick-fil-A, then we go to Target. And I have a list of things that I need, not the things that I want, just the things that I need. But I'm being shown things that I might want just to remember in the future. And I'm like, I don't have the brain capacity to look at things that I might want. So we go and do an initial run and I get some stuff and I come back to the house and the house has boxes everywhere. There's just more boxes. And then that night I'm on Amazon and I'm just like feverishly purchasing. So every day there's more boxes. I can't get rid of boxes. I'm just like a kaha bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the kahas are everywhere. And I just can't. Every time I go downstairs, I have boxes. And I know that the people at the front desk are probably like, this bitch just keeps buying shit. And because I have nothing. I don't even have bowls to like wash my chicken in. You know what I'm saying? I have utensils. I just got some knives. I have a cutting board. Thank God, because I bought it. You know, I have nothing. But what I do have is tequila. They did. And I took them. I still had so much to do because I didn't actually have any furniture because I've lived with family. So, I mean, I started work on Wednesday. Chris left Tuesday night. I drove her to the airport because we ran it close at Target. Target also, at Capital One, which I'd been using the entire way, finally shut down on me in Minneapolis at the Target and embarrassed me in front of a line full of people when I'm trying to spend $472. So I have to get on the phone with them. Then they free up my card. Then I'm like, okay, I'm good. So then I go about my business. And yeah, I started work on Wednesday. I was been at work for 8 hours Wednesday. Come home, dog tired. Thursday, go to work. My coworkers want to take me out for dinner to welcome me to the neighborhood. Go out with them yesterday. Come home, dog tired. Wake up. Yeah. Today, go to work. Go to Target again. Target shuts down my card. This was yesterday. Target shuts down my card yesterday again. I also have another $488 that they're just shutting down. I'm like, give me this stuff. Give it to me. So I just push out another card and I use that other card. And then I called Target this morning and I'm like, I called Capital One this morning and I'm like, look, niggas, you're going to stop shutting this goddamn card down. Okay? I got shit to buy. I got things to do. My bathroom is an absolute mess. Don't ask me how I put this makeup on my face. My bathroom is crazy. The kitchen is probably the only part that looks mildly decent. Every other space is crazy looking because I don't have like the things that I need. I need a shoe rack, so my shoes are everywhere. I need to throw stuff away, so things that I need to throw away are everywhere. So it's like crazy. It is crazy. It's crazy. So then today I'm like, oh my God. I was talking to some coworkers and they were like, oh yeah, we get paid once a month here. And I was like, excuse me? So when is that? And they're like, yeah, we're not gonna get paid until the 30th. I'm like, oh, I was expecting to get paid next Friday. Cool. I want you to know that I've been spending money. So I might have to do some bank transfers. Cool, thanks for letting me know. And they're like, good. Well, good news is that you know now and not next Friday when you didn't get paid. I was like, but my friend Cash gave me a silver lining and she said, getting paid once a month sounds crazy, but she's like, when you get your money, you will pay all of your bills for the month. So you will know exactly how much money you have left over. And if you want to save money so that you're ahead of the game so that you can pay your bills earlier, you just got to put the amount of money you want to save aside. And then you have the money you have for the rest of the month, just like divvy it out. And she's like, if you can like save some for groceries, like pull out cash and save your cash for groceries and you budget out how much you make or how much you're going to do a week. So right now at the grocery store, I just spent, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know. Oh no, it was 100. I paid in cash. It was 100. So I'm like, okay, let's see how long this meal lasts. Let's see how long this meal that I just made lasts. And if this meal lasts me, I mean, it's supposed to be a serving of 8, so it's definitely going to last me the weekend. And then it probably will last me until midweek tomorrow, like maybe Wednesday, I'm hoping. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm hoping I can go 5 days on this meal. So then I can start to truly budget and save, but I also need to buy more winter clothes because the winter clothes I have are cool, but they're too tight because I'm an extra large now. Not a large, sorry. Is that an American thing? In Europe, it's only once a month here. No, it's yeah. So depending on your company, honestly, and maybe your city. I don't know why it's different in Minnesota, but California, you can either get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, depending. Like I know some teachers only get paid monthly. So it truly just depends on the company you work for. I was getting paid bi-weekly, so that is true. Once a month salary was the silver leaf. Yeah. Winter is coming, huh? Yeah, girl, it is coming. It's coming. White Walkers. And apparently this like Minnesota winter is like it gets in the negatives over here. It didn't get in the negatives in New York when I lived there. Like we had a couple of days of negative. Oh, I'm running low on battery. Let me finish this episode. Girl, we've been talking for 2 hours. Who am I? I don't do 2-hour lives. Okay, let's move on. Oh, Chris just sent me a photo of my whereabouts at my exact apartment. Yay, it's me. So stop spending. There'll be tons of sales soon. Yeah, you're right. There will be Black Friday. But yeah, apparently it gets like -20 here. Right, like in January, it's like super cold, and that apparently the snow doesn't stop until like end of March, mid-April. I'm like, where's spring? Huh? Spring is supposed to start in March. So Anyways, that's what I'm living. That's the life I'm living. I need duck shoes. I need like to go to LL Bean. There's the Mall of America here, which is apparently the biggest, second largest mall in North America. I think the largest one is in Canada. So like, girl, we are in for a whole culture shock. I mean, I've been in snow before. I've been in weather before, but walking around in it in New York City is different than driving around in it in where am I? Minneapolis. So anyways, okay. Cole asks Zinab if she's bipolar, which is rude. It's rude because there are actually people with bipolar, and it's like uncouth to say it because there are people who actually suffer from it, and to just like, because somebody's emotional grid is up and down doesn't mean that they're bipolar. It's clear that Zinab is not bipolar. It's just that she doesn't know how to regulate her own emotions. It happens. So she gets super offended with that, and she feels like leaving. He runs after her. She feels like she's supposed to convince him, but that's not what she wants to do, and he's not asking her to do that. And so then they end up being like thankful that each other is patient with each other. And she's like, "Do you want me to sleep somewhere else?" And he's like, "No, I don't want you to sleep somewhere else." And they're just like, "Okay." It's like, girl, you're fishing. What if he was like, "Yeah, I do want you to sleep somewhere else"? What would you say? Stop being weird. You came in here with a funky ass attitude, and this is how it ended. And you're like, "Well, if you want me to sleep somewhere else, I guess I'll go somewhere else." Like, don't play the victim at this. Say it with your chest, sis. Raven and SK talk to their people, and they're excited about the marriage. I smiled throughout their entire wedding, and I was so shocked when he said no. And when he said no, I thought she knew because she was like, "Okay, bye guys." Thanks, Shannon Van. Hey, just popping out of the bushes to hit the like button. Thanks, Shan. Exactly. Exactly. And so it was just like I was so shocked that SK said no. But I know why he said no. I just wasn't expecting it, neither was she. And then the mother came to the room and consoled her afterwards, and I thought that was a super sweet moment and a great touch. And I loved the fact that I mean, the reason why he said no was super valid. She didn't want to move with him. And why should you marry with somebody who isn't sure about what they want? It would made perfect sense, but I think she was blindsided, and that's the part where I was like, that's not right. So episode 11, Bartice says no, and the brother is pissed. The brother and the mother are so mad that they can't even hear Nancy say, "It's okay, guys, go away." Bartice says no because he's like, "It just didn't feel right." And I said, "Because you're a punk ass B, and you're a little ass boy, and you're scared of this grown ass woman." And he did you a favor, Nancy. He embarrassed you in front of everybody, in front of your family, who was all very skeptical about this process to begin with. So the right thing he should have done was to tell you that he was having doubts and that he didn't know what he was going to say, so that you were prepared. But he didn't do that because he's a punk B. He's a punk AB. So she dodged a bullet, but it didn't have to happen the way that it did. Mom can't handle it. Mom and brother are like, "Say that again to my face." Otra vez, por favor. Say it again to my face. And I loved it. But at the same time, I was like, go sit down. His family gets up. Her family gets up. Her mother's like, his mother is like, this is not helping either of them. Truly, what I wanted was for Nancy's mother to clock his mother, because I'm like, This is what Nancy's mother should have said. You raised a bitch. Your son's a bitch. You raised him. So you should feel bad. My 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 computer's on like its last leg, guys. So if it just shuts off, I mean I could go and get my should I go get it? I'll go get it. I'm gonna go get my charger. Oy. Oh. I'm like, you's a bitch. Your son's a bitch. Your whole ass family is a bunch of holier than thou bitches, is what I would have said. Bye, D. I was like, oh my God. That's exactly what I would have said if I was the mother. But it was kind of annoying. I was like, go sit down, ma'am. Go sit down, madam. Sit down. So Zainab and Cole, girl, Zainab gets on this mic and she is like, Cole, I love you. And I love your faith in the Lord. I love our time spent together, but I have to stand up for myself because you disrespected me and you made me feel shitty about myself and really small. And I don't deserve that. Girl, in front of his family and friends. And he is completely blindsided. He doesn't know what she's talking about. And neither do we. We're like, disrespected. He made you feel bad about yourself? Ma'am, you are 31 years old. You should know by the age of 31 that no one should be able to make you feel bad about yourself. They might make you feel bad about yourself. But the statement is that I allowed you to make me feel bad about myself. Because he didn't pay your bills. You allowed him to make you feel bad about myself. And this is all after they prayed, says Candy. I mean, she was just the most unchristianly I've ever seen. Like, it was just something so wild about her. I don't want to say unchristianly, but it was really wild. And it was what she did was embarrassing. And she didn't need to be embarrassing. She didn't need to. Even like her reaction in the tell-all, she didn't need to be embarrassing. So, she says, I don't want you to go to hate me, but I couldn't marry him and I had to stand up for myself. That's what she said. I had to stand up for myself. And all we saw was her allowing her deep-rooted insecurities that he didn't create to get the better of her. So then we have the tell-all or the reunion in which Nick Lachey, why was he even there? Nick Lachey, why is he even there? Okay, why are they even there? It should just be Vanessa Lachey and that's it. Nick didn't offer anything interesting. And they have to add these awkward questions, and I thought that Vanessa handled it pretty well. And Colleen looks like a deer in headlights. They talk about Poolgate 2022, and Cole apologizes for it. They talk about Bartice's telling of Nancy that he really was into Raven. And Raven's sitting over there rolling her eyes, and so is SK. And Bartice is like, I'm sorry for that. And Raven's like, I had to shut you down because, like, no, that was really rude. And SK was like, yeah, what you did was like breaking a man code, and like that was rude. So Bartice had to answer to several people and apologize to several things. We find out that Alexa and Brennan are doing well and that there were some things that they had to work on, and they did, but they're very happy. Brennan had a problem with Cole or Bartice, one of those two, for something that they did. And then we find out that Zainab has been telling the girls all of the deets about all the things that Bartice has done that Cole has done to her, including body shaming her and trying to make comments about the food that she's eating and making her feel fat. And so we're like, what? Girl. And Cole is like completely confused as to what she's talking about. He's like, you sound crazy. And Brennan's like, don't call her crazy. That's rude. Everyone at this point is on the Zainab trade because she has been telling the girls, and they have been telling their prospective partners, all of the terrible thing that Bartise has been doing. We find out that SK and Raven are still dating each other, that they're boyfriend and girlfriend and they're trying to make it work, but that they didn't get married and it was the right choice, but they love each other. And they kissed and he grabbed her butt, and I was happy for them. She seemed a lot more comfortable than I've ever seen her, which was nice to see. And then we get to the portion where Zainab makes some very specific and outlandish comments about the things that Cole does. And at this point, Cole starts to cry, you guys. And I'm like, is he doing this for the camera or is she crazy? I truly started to believe him, and I felt guilty that I was believing him because I felt like it was some kind of like ploy, because she kept saying, they gave you a good edit. They didn't show all the things that you did. They didn't do that. And I said, wow, is America that racist? Where they would even do the xenophobia between the two whites? Because I know she's Middle Eastern, but she's definitely white passing, or like whatever. She in the States, she's just as white as Kim Kardashian is. Like, we can all say that Kim Kardashian is a woman of color, but the truth is that she isn't. Like, she's a dark-haired woman, but she's still in the white community, and maybe within her community of whiteness, she's a person of color. But like on the outside, she's not. That's a white lady. And so is Zainab. And so like I'm like, oh, she's, she's Jewish, she's some Middle Eastern, like a fair Middle Eastern or a light Middle Eastern. You know what I mean? Like, there's layers to it. And I'm just like, what is happening? Are we just trying to are the patriarchy getting at us? Is the patriarchy and white supremacy coming at us and making us endeared to Cole? But I just really was like, I need the footage. And I truly felt like they needed to show us the footage. And then they did, you guys. They showed us the footage. And I didn't take notes from the reunion. This is the thing that stood out for me. Besides, Bartise again was uncomfortable and he was eating crow, and Nancy stood up for herself and said the things that she needed to say. And Bartise apologized to the best of his small-minded ability. And Vanessa Lachey thanked Nancy for having that tough conversation. In fact, the fact that they even left in the abortion conversation was truly turning the needle in a direction that I think needs to happen. And I thank Nancy for, being the person to do that. But yeah, we get that footage of the scenes with the cuties. And we find out that Zainab is a crazy person. That it did not go down the way she did. And that her eating disorder or her body image dysmorphia or her issues are simply her issues. And she put it all on Cole, like he forced her. And the truth is that he had no idea that his fiance had such deep-rooted insecurities, all triggered because of Poolgate 2022. And Zainab looks like a crazy person on TV because she fully told everybody that he made her feel guilty for eating a cuties when he knew she had only eaten a banana that day. And it's clear in that footage that he's like manic and excited about whatever they're about to do. And she's like, okay. And she's like eating a cutie. And he's like, wait, you're going to eat right now? You got to save your appetite because we're going to eat tonight. And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, I didn't eat. I only had a banana today. And he's like, why? You only had a banana today? And she's like, yeah, I've just been busy. And he's like, well, I asked you if you wanted a poke bowl. And she's like, I know. And she turned that and told everybody on national TV that man disrespected her and made her feel worse than anybody has ever felt. She's a crazy person, and I'm going to say it. Even if Brendan is going to come after me for saying it, she's a crazy person who needs therapy. because he did not do that to her. He didn't understand what he was hearing, and he probably didn't see the pattern. But the fact that she chose not to eat because she was so worried about looking like Colleen has nothing to do with him and everything to do with her. Everything to do with her. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Love is Blind 3. Can't wait for season 4. I'm going to be better on season 4. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes, y'all. I got to clean this kitchen. I mainly have to scrub the salmonella and then take a shower. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll go to bed dirty. Who knows? Angelica says pushed her plate aside. Is that what she said that he said? Oh no, I pay. Hold on. My Wi-Fi was being weird just now, you guys. I pay the most you can pay for bomb ass service. In fact, I'm gonna figure out how I can get an Ethernet cable so that I had even better service. So the fact that it was like wonky, it's wonky again, wonky Wi-Fi. How is that possible? There's nothing on the network but my computer. This is maybe a stupid question, and you can go ahead and read me if you want to. It's a stupid question. I'm not even gonna ask it. Good for Love is Blind Sweet. I'm excited for it. Bye, Joslo. No, the question was, is it in English? It's stupid. I've been drinking and I'm also sleepy. Okay. There's a Love is Blind Sweden, and my thought was, is it in English? Stupid. Stupid. Wow, we used to say 10 months of winter and 2 months of poor sledding. Wow, my Wi-Fi is really terrible right now. This is unacceptable. Nobody's on my Wi-Fi but me. And I pay for the most expensive. It should not be cutting in and out. I'm glad you're safe and partially back, Wah. I'm gonna try to be more consistent, you guys. I just need to get my work schedule together. The problem is that I'll be going live late. I would love to be in bed. I am upset with this Wi-Fi. Hold on, wait for it. I would love to be in bed by 8:30 so I can get a full night's sleep. But that's not really my reality. Oh my god, I have a dishwasher. I can just put everything in the dishwasher right now, except for my cutting board and a few choice items. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go. My Wi-Fi is being weird. What is Docu Sweetie's reviewing next? Love After Lockup, which I need to watch tomorrow morning. Came tonight, and then obviously 90 Day Fiance HEA. As far as the documentary portion of it goes, I suggested Killer Sally, but it truly depends on what Chris is able to watch. Well, we can do whatever it is that she is able to watch and review. So far, so good. But it's a busy season for us right now. So it's hard coming into a new job with the busy season. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna put shit in the dishwasher, wash this makeup off my face, shower, and go to bed and not wake up to maybe 10 a.m. I'm just gonna let myself naturally wake up. It's gonna be a great joy. I cannot do -20 expected to work. My brain freezes in the snow. That's why I live in Tennessee. Thanks, Soraya. It's so nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. I'm sorry that I've been neglecting you guys, but once everything equals out and I get less busy, I'll be able to do these lives. I mean, maybe it's like I only do them on the weekends. Maybe I can't do them during the week. You know what I'm saying? If this Wi Fi keeps acting up, we're going to have a fight. Okay, y'all. Have a fantastic evening. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Zainab is an absolute lunatic. Follow me on Just Call Me Wah Gmail. Follow me Just Call Me Wah on Instagram. I'll take pictures of this in the morning. What time did I even put it in? Who knows? Let me go look at the timer. It'll just set it to warm. It'll better be delicious. I hope it's not too salty. Anyways, I gotta go. Bye.